and we have to really understand who we're playtesting with. Like, who is this person? Is this the person, like, is our core audience or not? It's a really difficult balancing act to try and please everybody. I think with Monument Valley especially, finding the right balance for the difficulty is especially hard. So you end up with a new player on one end of the spectrum that maybe doesn't play a lot of games coming in and being confronted with like all the rules that games have, but no access point.
Working on a game like Monument Valley kind of like proved to us, number one, it proved to us that we can deliver at this level of narrative type of game, which is by far best of the best that is out there. It also taught us that being malleable is a big support for the collaboration, especially for games with such a strong character as Monument Valley.
So this is the third title in the series. So what was the biggest challenge of preserving the essence of Monument Valley, the games, but also bringing innovation, something new?
Yeah, I think that was probably the biggest challenge for Monument Valley 3, finding this balance between like surprising the player. So one of the original pillars of the Monument Valley was surprise and delight, and we wanted to retain that. So we can't just give players exactly what they've seen before, and we wanted to push and pull with the narrative and really explore new spaces. And I think we always grounded ourselves by giving it back to players and trying to understand, like, okay, here are our fans, what do they think and feel about what we're showing? And are they getting that surprise and delight? Okay, and what about the new players? Are we welcoming them in? And it's always this balance being played to find that space. It's a really difficult balancing act to try and please everybody. I think with Monument Valley especially, finding the right balance for the difficulty is especially hard. So you end up with a new player on one end of the spectrum that maybe doesn't play a lot of games coming in and being confronted with like all the rules that games have, but no access point. But then also it's impossible and it's puzzling and so on. And then the other end of the spectrum, we have fans who have played both games multiple times, they know it like the back of their hand, and they're coming in and they want to be challenged. And again, it's just this like push and pull of like, okay, well, we want to challenge people, but we don't want to lose too many. And so you have to decide where your spectrum is. Who are your players that are the core that you really want to satisfy?
Yeah. And this for both of you, maybe, how did the collaboration between Amber Studio and ustwo Games for this development of Monument Valley begin? What were the initial objectives? How did you collaborate?
So we connected over the need to do live ops, or what we call in the world of Monument Valley longevity. And I want to say we started working, we met each other sometime in June, and then there was this long period of getting to know each other and kind of like learning what each company is about and what the character of each developer is. It was, for us, it was kind of like a stamp of approval, kind of like doing work with us too. And they're like world-renowned quality studio. So it was very interesting for us to kind of like gel with them because it was a co-development. And we ended up working for a long period of time together over building and turning Monument Valley into a product that is no longer a standalone shipment, but kind of like a series of an evolving product.
Yeah, I think we really wanted to tap into the knowledge you have of that space. What does post-launch look like? We know Monument Valley and we know our players, but we wanted to tap into that knowledge base you had and try and find this blend in a space. Where do we weave this together?
Yeah. It was, and I think it's probably one of the best collaborations that we've had on our side. Also one of the more challenging, because we wanted to stay true to the DNA of Monument Valley, but also bring in this new type of content to it. And we learned that trust and collaboration are kind of like fundamental to do this type of things. I think we did a pretty good job. Yeah.
And what was your roles and responsibilities in this project? how did you build it?
It was a co-development. So we ended up doing the live ops, we'll just call it a platform or whatever, lack of a better term. And we also did content. So us two entrusted us with building content for a chapter and multiple mini puzzles, I guess we could call them that.
Yeah.
Well, that was it. It was a co-development and it was a merging of the brains.
Yeah, the partnership was online, but you work from Bucharest to from Romanian, you understand?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah.
It goes to prove that people can do amazing things even if they're separated by a whole continent. Because we only got to meet each other very late in development. Yeah. And by the time we had met, our teams had already been working together for a while, and it felt like we were coming together. But it was also very good to put a body to the face.
Not a floating head.
Not a floating head. Yeah.
So, do you think maybe pandemic helped a bit this type of relationship between companies, or did not influence in maybe working better together online environments and so on? Just your personal opinion.
I think collaboration tools have been pushed forward like a lot through COVID time. So I think that helped a lot. Being able to work in a similar space and push ideas back and forth, and calls were so easy, and Slack is so fluid. We can just chat all the time. Yeah.
I think on our side, we've been doing it for a while, right?
Yeah.
Because this is the type of work though that we do, and we work with different partners, and we kind of have the playbook. We can pull out the playbook as an agency, as a development agency. However, what we've learned is that creativity changes depending on the medium in which it's in. So to Emily's point, doing things over Slack and over Zoom, it's super evolved, but it kind of has its own flavor.
What does come first in building a chapter? The puzzles or the art? How does this relationship between these two big elements work in the game?
So if you look at Monument Valley 3, how the ideas came from all different spaces. So some of the ideas originated from an arted scene where it's just like, there's no puzzle there, but there's a shape and there's something interesting happening. Or a programmer kind of exploring what would it mean to unfold a cube? Like, what could we even do with that? And creating a seed of an idea in one little puzzle, and then a designer taking it and go, okay, well, how do we build the player up to this point so they understand what's going on? How do we use surprise? And I think it's a blend of those things, right? It might be a designer's working on this really complex puzzle and finding that really satisfying aha moment. Or it might be just look at this great shape and how it moves. And I think we lean into that. The game doesn't have to just be one thing. It can be all these things, and it's going to be better because of it. Some puzzles really do take months to get right, but you lean into them because they're complex, but they're worth it. So some of the final chapter of the game really took months to tie together and get it really right. And some, at the design side, within a few weeks, maybe between 2 and 4 weeks, depending on what it was for. And then with art coming afterwards. So we're looking at a month, 2 months, each discipline having the chapter.
I think it's very important for you guys to balance the difficulty of the puzzles. I'm not a puzzle guy. I really like the games, but sometimes I get stuck.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I think it's very important to find this balance. How do you decide when this is too tough, or maybe this is too easy?
I don't know if we always got it right. We playtest a lot. And we have to really understand who we're playtesting with. Who is this person? Is this the person, is our core audience or not? Because we playtested quite broadly sometimes, and we'd have people playtest this is not even my kind of game. And that's oh, that's interesting. This person it's too slow, it's too calm. I'm this is not for you. This is what we are. Our DNA is it's calm, and it's thoughtful, and it's puzzling. it's a really difficult balance to play, but you've just got to keep trying and making sure you know your audience.
What impact has the partnership with ustwo games had on Amber Studios' growth and expertise? What didn't you know and you know now, and you can use that further?
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, working on a game like Monument Valley, kind of like proved to us, number one, it proved to us that we can deliver at this level of narrative type of game, which is by far best of the best that is out there. It also taught us that being malleable is a big support for the collaboration, especially for games with such a strong character as Monument Valley. One thing that I was discussing with Emily earlier on that we were talking about is that there's a very strong DNA, right? Everything in Monument Valley is very intentional. It's beautifully and intentionally crafted. And you cannot just put it on a production line. So it has to be handcrafted. Whereas building in the frame of live operations, in the frame of live operations is a lot about having the cadence and delivering on time, and etc. And for us, it was about understanding how we tailor our. I was telling you about a playbook. We do have a live ops playbook. How do we tailor that to stay true to what Monument Valley is? Because there's no way in which you do a game like this one without bending the rules